Hi there and welcome to today's video. So today's video is our solar panel update for mid-June to mid-July 2023. It's a bit late. I planned it, I prepared it, and then I had a million things to do and I forgot to record the actual video. So this is it. It's a bit late, but it's here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not too hot, probably not if you're in the UK. Ironically, if you've seen my last solar panel update, mid-May to mid-June was amazing, and then it went downhill from there drastically. And the mid-July to mid-August video will also not be the most cheerful one, but it's still alright. But it's not as good as mid-May to mid-June. Mid-May to mid-June was just, I think, the exception. It gave us too many great expectations, and obviously the sun can't deliver. It was just too good. Anyway, so ironically, in the southern part of Europe, it's been really hot, but in England, it hasn't been very hot. It's been okay, but it's not been amazing. So let's just start with a quick recap of our setup. We have 12 solar panels, so approximately 4.2 kilowatt system. We had it fitted end of April 22. And we have a 5.8 kilowatt battery and a 3.7 kilowatt Solax inverter, and we have had both of those since roughly mid-March 23. So we are Octopus customers, and we are on the flux rate. So a flux rate, you have 3 different rates depending on the time of the day. There's 3 different rates for import and 3 different rates for export. I put the old rate and I put the new rate next to it, and I think it's accurate because I just checked it now. And you can see, for example, they swapped around, sorry. The old rate import at the top, it used to be the most expensive time of the day, used to be 45p per kilowatt. And if you look here, it's hard to tell, but it's about 43.5p per kilowatt, so it's gone down a little bit. And then if you're looking at the rate, I'm going to call it the mid rate because it's a rate in the middle. It used to be about 32, 33p per kilowatt, and now it's about 30p. So it's gone down. The same way, the export rate has gone down as well. So it used to be about 35p if we exported between 4 and 7 p.m., which was great. It's gone down now to 32, but obviously that's reflected because we pay less for what we import and we get less money for what we export. It makes sense. Anyway, that's the rate, but if you want to see the most up-to-date rate, you can go on their website. But yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning, that rate had gone down a bit, even though things kind of balance out in the end. So that's our update for mid-June to mid-July. I'm getting confused because it's August as I'm recording this. Our average daily consumption was 9.5 kilowatt, which is funny. It's gone down about 1 kilowatt. But that is strange because we didn't really change anything. So I'm not sure why it's gone down. We spent the same amount of time in the house. The kids were at school. We worked from home. So I'm not quite sure why it's gone down. But anyway, we saved about a kilowatt a day. Our total solar panel generation for the month was 504 kilowatts, so I can't remember exactly what it was a month before, but I know it was more. Our total electricity that we used from the grid was 48 kilowatts. So if you're new to solar panels and if you don't know much about batteries, originally when we decided to have the solar panels installed, we didn't think we'd get a battery because one installer told me it wasn't really worth it in the UK. At that point in time, I feel like he was wrong, but we've not been through a whole year cycle yet. So I will give my final verdict next year in March and tell you what I think, because obviously it's an investment. So the solar panels were about £5,100, I think, a bit more than that. And then the battery was 5,300 in the end because there was a bit that was missing. Anyway, we were looking, no, there's a bit more than that. In total, we're looking at 12.5 grand investment, and that was before solar panel product went up. So we have quite a lot of money to get back, basically. So I always say I think it will take us about 10 years to get the money back. Bearing in mind that we didn't have the battery for most of the first year, so that only kind of saved us money from this year. So the electricity we used on the grid this month was 48.2 kilowatts. So what I didn't do at first, because I think you kind of want some of those things, you kind of need to get used to it, is I would fill up at night. I would fill the entire battery at night from the grid. And someone said, well, you shouldn't fill up battery at night because you can fill it in a day. The problem with the UK, and particularly Birmingham, so it depends where you are, but particularly Birmingham, it's very random weather-wise, and the weather app is not always reliable. So if it tells me it's sunny tomorrow, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not filling up the battery tonight because tomorrow will be sunny, so like from 8 o'clock it will start filling up, maybe even 7:30 in the summer. And it turns out it's grey, then I will barely generate anything throughout the day, and that's quite frustrating, because then like all day I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, there's not enough electricity, I can't run the washing machine, I can't run the dryer. So at first, when it was April, May, I filled it up every night. And then as we moved closer towards summer and the days stretched, and now we have, well, not anymore because the days have shrunk again, but we had about, I want to say at least 12 hours of daylight. I haven't actually calculated, but maybe roughly. Even if it's grey, and even if I only get 500 watts per hour, it's still, a certain amount of kilowatt over the day. So it does help to have longer days. Even if the weather is cloudy, you will still fill up your battery. So yeah, so our consumption daily went from about 5 or 6 kilowatt a day down to about 1.5 kilowatt a day. So that 48 kilowatts for the month is about 1.5 kilowatt a day. There's a very strange phenomenon that I can't quite understand, and I've seen someone mention something about clamps somewhere. Every day we still leak in some electricity from the grid, so that's something I still need to look into, is to understand why we use electricity from the grid, because then if you don't use anything from the grid at all, you'll save even more money. So anyway, £29 for the month mid-June to mid-July is pretty good. Our total consumption, solar panels plus grid, was 286 kilowatts. So I counted that it was roughly about £100. I've reduced I'm using an hypothetical rate because I don't have a contract anymore for that kind of, my contract is different from that. So I'm using a rate as if like we used to pay 32p per kilowatt. So I decided to go down a little bit to 30p per kilowatt this month, but it gives me an idea of how much we saved. And then in terms of export, so we exported 266 kilowatts, and that's about £60, and that's half of what we exported between mid-May and mid-June, because I remember that we made £120 that month, and I was really excited. So, I mean, it's still good. We saved £130, which is still really good. And I worked out this month that our electricity bill was £29 and our gas bill was about £30. And both added together and balanced against the export, our bill was basically £0, which was brilliant. But effectively, we saved £130 this month. And I decided to add the total saving up to date because I want to see how many years it takes us to get the money back. So since end of April 22, we saved about £1,174. Just put a pinch of salt, just take the numbers I give you with a pinch of salt. It's not 100% accurate because I don't have an actual rate as if I didn't have solar panels. But that give us a good idea of how much we saved so far. So it's still really satisfying. And a good chunk of that is been since we had the battery. We're saving so much more money. So as I said, I will wait until March to give my final verdict, but I am pretty confident that having a battery is worth it, and I wish personally that we did it to start with. It's really hard. It could have not worked out. We could have, we might have just a terrible year for the next 6 months, and it might not be worth it, but I feel for us, it was worth it. So I hope these numbers are helpful if you're looking into solar panels. If you're thinking about switching to Octopus, I put a link in my description box. It's a referral link and we can share a bit of money. If you do subscribe to Octopus, check your inbox because I have a subscriber who had issues with emails and things didn't go well. So Octopus is normally really good at fixing things, so give them a call if you do have any issues. But the link is in the referral in the description box. Sorry, I'm getting there. I haven't recorded for a while, can you tell? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!